Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Here we are in the third part of the passive tenses. In this third part, we are going to talk about the perfect tenses in passive. Look at this example. The pilot had just called the tower. If you look at this sentence, it's an active voice sentence because the doer of the verb who called is at the beginning of the sentence. Then we use the helping verb has or have. After that, we use the PP or the past participle of the verb. At last, we write the object. What's the structure we followed here to write this sentence or this active sentence in the present perfect? We write the subject, has or have, PP or the past participle, and at the end we write the object. Okay, how can we change this into passive? In this example, the word tower was at the end of this, okay, of this sentence. In the second sentence, we took the word tower to beginning here, or to the beginning, at the beginning of the second sentence. Here's the active voice sentence, which starts with the subject, and this is the passive sentence, which start with the object. We write the object at the beginning like this. After that, we write the word or the helping verb has or have. The word been, after that, we should follow been with past participle of the verb, the PP. If you would like to mention the subject, you should write it at the end of the sentence after the preposition by. What's the structure we followed here to make this sentence? This is the structure we followed to change a sentence in the present perfect from active to passive. We started with the object, has or have. If the object is singular, we use has. If it is plural, we use have. After that, we should write or insert the word been, which is the past participle of the verb, the helping verb be. Then we should write the PP or the past participle of the main verb, the word called or cool here. And it is also a regular verb, so we add ed at the end. If we would like to mention the doer of the verb or the person who did this, you should write by, the preposition by, then followed by the subject, okay? This is how to make a sentence or to form a sentence in the present perfect tense in active and passive voice. Let's come to negative. How can we write a negative sentence in the present perfect tense? Look at the example. The pilot hasn't called the tower yet. Hasn't called the tower yet. So what's the structure we follow to make this active sentence in the present perfect in negative form? So write the subject at the beginning, hasn't or haven't. If this subject is singular, we should use hasn't, okay? If it is plural, we should use haven't or have not, okay? Then we follow these helping verbs with the PP or the past participle and the object at the end of the sentence. How can we change this into passive? The object here is after the verb. We bring it or we brought it at the beginning here at the beginning of the sentence. After that, we should use the helping verb hasn't or haven't. Then we write the word been followed by the past participle or the PP of the main verb called, position by, and if you'd like to mention the doer, you should write it at the end. We should use the word yet at the end of this sentence, a negative sentence or the question. It is not used in affirmative. What's the structure we followed here to write this sentence? We put the object and hasn't or haven't, then been, then BP, and by the preposition, followed by the preposition and the subject at the end. Okay, let's come to the question. As we mentioned before many times that we have two types of questions. Yes, no questions and WH question. How can we make yes, no question in the present perfect tense? We should start the question with the helping verb has or have. We should write the subject. After that, we should write the PP or the past participle of the main verb call, then the object and yet at the end. What's the structure we follow to make an active sentence or an active question in the present perfect? We should has or have. After that, the subject of the sentence, the PP, past participle, and the object. How can we change this into passive? We should write has or have or the helping verb at the beginning. After that, we write the object. Then we write been and called by, the preposition by, followed by the subject. Has or have at the beginning, as usual, to make passive, okay, the helping verb, and object. After that comes the object. After that we should put the word or insert the past participle of the verb be between the object and the main verb, and we should after that write the past participle of the main verb followed by the preposition by and the subject at the end of the question. The second type of question, WH question. In the WH questions we should use one of the words that are used to make questions, like what, like when, like who, like where. All these question words can be used to make questions in active and passive voice. Look at the question in front of you. Who has the pilot called? In this sentence, we follow the structure. Here, we write the question word at the beginning. After that, we write the helping verb has or have, subject, past participle, and the object at the end. How can we change a question like this in passive voice? Okay, we can start with who, as usual. After that, we should write has or have, been, and the PP, by, and the subject. Look at the structure. WH question, has or have. If the object is singular, we use has. If it is plural, we use have. Then we write the object, not the subject in the active voice, but in the passive voice we use the object, okay? Then been, and after that we write the be. Here we comes to the end of this section. Thank you so much for listening. In this part, we are going to talk about how to make passive from the past perfect. Past perfect passive. Look at this example. The company had built the bridge before building the new route. If you look at this sentence, it consists of two parts. The first part is in the past perfect, and the second part is verb ing after before. The second part is not important for us. It's not our topic today, but we concentrate on the first part, which is the past perfect. Here, if you look at this sentence, you will find that the sentence begins with the subject, noun here, the company, and the helping verb had, and after that we used the past participle of the word, the verb build, okay? And after that we write the object like this. What is the structure we followed here to make this active sentence in the past perfect? We put the subject, had, PP or past participle, and the object at the end, and we can write any complement if we want to complete the sentence, it's okay. Because I wrote this because this sentence or this type of sentences is used to connect the two sentences together or to actions in the past. So I write the first and the second part. But our concern today is the first part, which is the past perfect. Okay? How can we change this past perfect sentence from active to passive? Look at the example. The bridge. Here in this sentence, we started with the subject or the doer of the verb, which was the company, okay? But here in this sentence, we started the sentence with the bridge, okay? Which is the object of the previous sentence, the above sentence. And also we write had as a helping verb, then we write been, okay? And also we write the PP or the past participle of the verb build. This verb is irregular, and the base verb of this form is build with D. Here we change the D into T to change it to the past participle. If you look carefully and compare these two sentences, what is the structure we followed here? This is the structure. Object, had, been, and the PP or the past participle, followed by the preposition by. And if you would like to mention the subject or the doer, you should put it at the end of this sentence. Read these two sentences carefully and compare them together. Okay, what about negative form of the active voice? If we look at the same sentence, but it is negative here, we will notice that this negative is formed of the word not being added to the helping verb had. The company had not built the bridge before building the new route. A note here you should take in consideration is that the verb here doesn't change it to his form again, but it is still in the PP. How can we change this into passive? First, you should look at the structure we followed to make the active voice in negative. We write the subject, then we write the helping verb hadn't, and after that PP or the past participle, and the object comes at the end of the sentence. How can we change this into passive? Look at the second example and you will know how we changed this. We changed this by starting the sentence with the noun, the bridge or the object, then we write hadn't been built by the company. This is the subject which was at the beginning of the previous sentence. Before building, it's a complement. It's okay if you write it as it is. So it's easy now if you compare these two sentences together and look at the structure we followed here to write the second sentence. Object, hadn't, been, would be, and BB. Okay? Compare these two sentences to understand how can we change a negative sentence or a negative active sentence in the past perfect to passive voice. Here we come to the question, yes, no question. As I mentioned before that we have two types of question, yes, no questions and WH question. In this part we are going, or in this slide we are going to look at the yes, no questions. How can we form a yes, no question in the active voice in the past perfect? We start with the verb had at the beginning, then the subject company, and after that comes the PP and the object after that, and you can complete the complement as you see in this sense. Had the company built the bridge before building the new route? What's the structure we followed here? We started the question with had, subject, PP, and after that we write the object. How can we change a question like this or a question, yes, no question into passive? How can we change this question or yes, no question into passive? Look at the example here. Had the bridge been built by the company before building the new route? If you look at this sentence carefully, you'll find that we started with the helping verb had, then we used the object, not the subject. We brought the object here from the middle of the sentence or the end of the first clause and write it here after the helping verb. Then we put or write the word been and then the PP or the past participle. What's the structure we followed here? It's clear in front of you. Had, object, been, and PP. And if you'd like to mention or complete the sentence, it's up to you to complete the meaning of this sentence. Let's come to the WH question. If you look at this slide, WH questions are the questions that start with the WH words like here. And in this question, we can form a question in the active voice in the past perfect. What had the company built before building the new house? What had the company built? Okay, here the company is the subject, and if you look at the structure, you will find the question word at the beginning had, subject, PP, or the past participle, and after that you have the object. If you would like to change this question into passive, you should follow the structure here. You should write the question word at the beginning, had, object, been, and the PP or the past participle. What had been built by the company before building the new route? If you compare these two sentences, you will easily notice that in this question we focus on the subject of the action or the doer of the action. In this question we focus on the object of the action or the noun that is affected by the action. This is the end of the second part or the second section of the perfect tenses, and I wish that this is clear to you. Thank you so much.